But as much as you want to save animals, I'm pretty sure you're not going to do it by buying cosmetics. Pretty sure you can't walk into the body shop and buy some burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub, and some little badger somewhere in Scotland is going to go, wow, I feel a whole lot better about my life right now. Somebody's buying that burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub. I don't see the point in testing cosmetics on rabbits anyway, because they're already cute. Slather some lip gloss and eyeliner all over them. Now they're all gussied up like some $3 whore. There's no dignity in that for a rabbit whatsoever. You want to test out cosmetics? Test them out on big game, because they stink. Get up under a hippopotamus there and get some roll-on deodorant under his armpit. See how fresh and self-assured he stays all day, huh? Little lip gloss on a beaver. Real beaver. Stay with me, fella. Real beaver. Right? Dam-building, log-eating beaver. If he's charged through 60 logs and he's still wearing that lip gloss, that's some damn good lip gloss right there, ladies and gentlemen. You know this whole thing about, you ever meet someone famous and you tell your friends, and then they say, well, what was he like? Because all they really want to hear is that he was a prick. That's why they like to say Tom Cruise is the nicest guy in Hollywood. And I always think, well, if I was making $8 million a film, I'd be nice too. Jesus Christ. But I'm not sure he is that nice. Because I always read these articles about how he's so insular and he's into his Scientology and he, stays at a hotel, won't make eye contact with anyone in the hotel because he doesn't want to talk about the plots to his new films. Apparently, as if staring Tom Cruise in the face, he would just crack under pressure. What are you staring at? Hey, you want to hear about my new film? You ever seen a Tom Cruise film like it couldn't figure out the plot in about 18 seconds? Oh, Christ. He's a cocktail maker. He's a pretty good cocktail maker, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence and can't make cocktails anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better cocktail maker. A riveting piece of cinema that was. Then he's a race car driver. Pretty good race car driver, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence. Can't race cars anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better race car driver. Then he's a jet pilot. Some of you are starting to see a pattern emerge here. Pretty good jet pilot? Yes, he was. Until he had a crisis of confidence, couldn't fly jets anymore. Then I believe he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better jet pilot. Then he was a sports agent. Then he was the brother of a retarded guy. He was a pretty good brother of a retarded guy until he had a crisis of confidence and wasn't so sure he was such a good brother of a retarded guy. And then he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better brother of a retarded guy. Then he was some kind of, I don't know what he's in now, War of the Worlds. Maybe he fights the world. And you know what? I bet he's a pretty good world fighter. But at some point he'll probably have a crisis of confidence. You'll meet a good-looking woman who convinces him it's okay to fight the world. Could be a Scrabble player for all I care. He's a pretty good Scrabble player. Till he draws all vowels. Has a crisis of consonants. And he meets a lovely Welsh woman who teaches him a lot of words he's never heard before.
I just don't know how to relax. A friend of mine, when he wants to relax, he listens to whale song. You know those tapes of whales singing? They go, I think firstly, they're not singing, are they? No, they're faxing. Really long fax. Like the one I asked my brother to send me. That time I ran out of toilet paper. Shops were shut. But also, they can't be relaxed. They've got to be the least relaxed animals on the planet, whales, haven't they? For starters, they're endangered. Is that relaxing? There's only 10 of you left. Fine! As long as I'm one of them. If I'm feeling a bit horny, I'll sellotape a couple of dolphins together. But not only are they endangered, they're the biggest animals on the planet, whales, aren't they? They're enormous. Me doing that doesn't really get across how big they are. They're massive. But they eat the smallest, don't they? plankton and krill, tiny little creatures like that. Imagine you're a great big animal, you're starving hungry, you never get a good bite of anything, never get a good, oh, that was bloody lovely, that was. No, just all day long shoving tiny bits of food in the side of your mouth. Oh, I'm sick of these stupid little things. Oh. I like to think of it as Jeff Capes living on hundreds and thousands. He'd be furious, wouldn't he? I'm starving. And he'd be wandering around looking for whatever the individual of hundreds and thousands is. I don't know what you call them when you've only got one. You wouldn't call it a hundreds and thousand, would you? That's far too long a word for something that insignificant. Maybe they call it a one. And then maybe we've got two of them. You've got two ones. That's confusing, isn't it? Because they can't have always had hundreds and thousands of them. Surely in the early days, when they first started making them, they must have made a few, see what they were like. I mean, that's not good business sense, is it? You've got a new product, you don't just make hundreds of thousands! We're gonna be rich! Oh, you make a few more. I don't know. It's a mystery. In America, they don't call them hundreds and thousands, actually. They don't call them that. They call them sprinkles. And unfortunately, I found that out at a gig. And that was a tough night, I tell you. There's a guy in the front row going, hundreds and thousands what? Hundreds and thousands what? I said, no, it's not hundreds and thousands of anything. They're called that. It's a cake decoration. He said, we don't call them that. We call them sprinkles. So I said, all right. I said, all right. It's like Jeff Capes, right? Living on sprinkles. I thought I'd get it a second time. He said, who the hell's Jeff Capes? I said, he's a massive bloke. I said, strongest man in the world 3 years running, loves his grub. He said, we don't call him that, we call him Luther Vandross. So I said, all right, it's like Luther Vandross living on sprinkles. But by that point, they'd forgotten about the whales. Why the hell would Luther Vandross eat sprinkles? He's a millionaire. He could have steak every day. You saying he's too dumb to go and find his own food? He's got to go around eating little bits of cakes? Are you racist, buddy? Is that your problem? So I just did a couple of knob gags and got off.
There's other younger people in the room, right? You know what I mean. You have only ever known a time in your life when you're trying not to get pregnant or trying not to get somebody else pregnant. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but on both accounts, I fucking smashed it. I think it comes down to skill set at the end of the day, doesn't it? People are just good at different things. Some people are good at the violin. Some people are good at parallel parking. I was very good at taking the pill. Every day, every day, every day. Honestly, I used to think I was so good at taking the pill, I deserved a reward. Arguably, there was a reward. It was the reward of not having to watch Peppa Pig or cleaning up another human's shit. Tell you what I don't understand, right, is women who are on the pill and forget to take it. Don't get that, because don't get me wrong, I forget things. I forget my keys, my wallet, the fact I'm married. Sure! But forgetting to take something that can prevent you from creating a human that could one day say, turn the machines off, is what she would have wanted. I'm going to remember that one, thank you. Obviously, it does happen, though. Women forget to take the pill, they get knocked up. Happened to a girl I used to work with, actually, when I used to work in an office, right? And we were chatting about it one day. She was so blasé. We're in the kitchen. She's just standing there rubbing her belly like, well, the thing is, I've just got really bad memory. I was thinking, that's funny, because every day without fail, you remember to steal my milk. Maybe if you'd strapped your packet of microgynon to my semi-skimmed... Stephen in accounts wouldn't be telling everyone how you trapped him. But I think the reason I was always very good at remembering to take the pill, because I've been on it for so long. I was on it since I was about 16. And the reason I started taking it was because I was going out with my first boyfriend, Kevin Sutherland. A boom, chicka, wow, wow. He was quite the catch. He had a Peugeot 106. and a tattoo of Bart Simpson, which I thought showed a great joie de vivre. And things were going very well between Kevin and I. We had matching bracelets from Argos, so you can tell how serious we were. And we'd agreed that we were going to do it for the first time, right? So I was like, right, I'll put myself on the pill because my first time is going to be really special. My first time is going to be just like in the movies. So the big day arrived, and Kevin, bless him, he made such an effort for everything to be really perfect. Like, he paid his little brother to leave the room. To this day, the most romantic thing a man has ever done for me. And he made a mix CD of all of our favourite romantic songs. You know, like Boom, 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 Let Me Hear You Say Wayo. And as we lay down on his single bed, with his Liverpool FC duvet cover on it, the scent of Lynx Africa heavy in the air. And as Kevin took my virginity so beautifully, and gently, and quickly, from behind, I remember thinking, wow, just like in the movies. Obviously, it's quite difficult to make eye contact in that position, isn't it? Almost felt like I lost my virginity to Stephen Gerrard. I'll never walk alone. I never will.
So I came to Britain in the early 80s. We were refugees long before it became fashionable. But my favourite immigrants are Polish people because they've properly confused old-fashioned racists. Have you seen them? They don't know what to do. What do we do? What do we say? They're immigrants, but they're white. I had this one bloke go, bloody Poles coming over here with their work ethic. Which isn't very politically correct, and I try so hard to be politically correct. Sometimes I take it too far. I was at a party recently and I said to my friend, have you met Steve? He's a really nice guy. My friend goes, which one's Steve? Steve was the only black guy in the room. I found myself going, Steve, yeah, he's over there. He's got blue jeans on, a grey T-shirt, sort of curly hair, and a Nigerian accent. And once I was performing at a comedy club and there was two black guys in the front row, like you two, but men and black. You are a man, sir, I'm sorry. It's the lights. And I said to them, so how do you two know each other? And they looked at each other and went, we don't. Might as well have had NF tattooed on my forehead. I didn't, it was felt tip. I like friendly, a little bit of friendly racism is nice. When I was a little girl, I used to always go to my friend Katie's house, and every time her dad opened the door, he'd go, hello, Shappi, been on holiday? So, I have a little boy, I have a baby boy, I'm a mum, and I'm looking at you, some of you are so young, I could be your mummy if I lived somewhere rural. Like a lot of women, I got to my 30s and I thought, I've got to have a baby now. Why, my mum's still young enough to look after it for me. And I went to all the antenatal classes, and this woman came up to me, one of the other mums goes, oh, how are you planning on losing your baby weight? And I was like, well, I was just thinking of having the child. And she was like, oh, I'm going to be a yummy mummy. I'm going to lose all my yummy mummy. That's just like a middle-class way of saying MILF. I was so happy when I found out that I was pregnant. And we had a scan and we knew that it was a boy. And people said to me, why did you find out the sex of your baby? Didn't you want a surprise? Well, it's going to be a boy or a girl, do you know what I mean? The only surprise would have been if it was a puppy. And there are no puppies in my family. There's one goat, it's not a blood relation. Thank goodness I have a child now. It was no fun being a broody Iranian woman. Every time I said to people, my body clock's ticking, they'd hit the ground. So with all that going on, when I did find out I was pregnant, I was so delighted. I thought, I am going to fill this child's life up with love and hope and understanding. My husband's reaction was slightly different. He walked around going, woohoo, my soldiers worked. Easy. It's not his. Oh, the fuss he made when he found out I was cheating on him. Only child. Can't share. My husband's English, he's from Nottingham, and a lot of people ask me if my husband's Iranian. And I go, well, he's not, he's English, but he's planning to convert. His family are absolutely lovely, and when they first met me, they kept going, oh, Shappi, so exotic, she's so exotic, which means foreign, but not in a way that we hate.
Put my name in the internet the other day. Oh, I wish I'd never bothered. I'm on a website, 20 celebrities I'd like to punch.com. Madonna, J-Lo, Tom Cruise, and then me. I'm the only one who can't afford a fucking bodyguard. J-Lo ain't gonna get trotted outside Morrison's, if she know it'd be me. Have you seen me fight? I can't fight. It's a cross between river dance and a doggy paddle. I'm like, yeah. If it can go wrong, anything will with me. Honestly, I just attract bad luck. How many people do you know can get sexually assaulted on a Jack the Ripper walk? I thought it was part of the experience. Oh, Jack, your hands are cold. Now, honestly, if you look like a victim, you get treated like a victim, don't you, sir? Yeah. Your life's been shit. No, I mean, that's like when I went and got me glasses. I had the afternoon off school. He comes in with these glasses, honestly, that thick. That thick. I said, I can't see the board, not the pennines. You can see the future. You can see the future. I was telling me Nan the lottery numbers. 5, 48, 9. No, it's horrible when you lose your sight. It's horrible. I was on the train the other day. They've got Braille now in the toilets in the train. Braille. Except for a blind person couldn't smell that was a fucking toilet. They're hardly going to go, buffet car? They got a baby changing unit in Braille now. Baby changing unit. Blind person changing a baby on a train in a toilet. What could possibly go wrong? Let's make it interesting. Pop some roller skates on. My dad's still not pleased that I'm doing this job. Oh, he's not happy. My parents, they're pushy parents, but they're not like pushy as those parents you get on, you know, Britain's Got Talent or Stars in Your Eyes Kids. Those parents are too pushy, aren't they? You know, when the door opens and the smoke clears, you can see the parents' foot saying, get on that fucking... The little kid's trembling at the back going, who the hell's Patsy? Crazy. God. The worst thing for me was being picked for the team. That was awful. Do you remember standing in line waiting to get picked? It's like ethnic cleansing, weren't it? All the fit and healthy people at one end. Me and the fat kids. Those kids were fat. One girl had to be cut out of a hula hoop. The bullies, they nicked me kit. Nicked me kit. I had to go to Lost Property Box. Do you remember the smell from Lost Property Box? Those clothes weren't lost. No one loses the clothes in that box. They're just clothes that Africa had sent back. Getting their own back for Harvest Festival. That's what they were doing. Then we had to send food over to Africa. What did my mum send? Pineapple chunks and peach slices. They grow them over there!
And this is what I'm talking about, the assumption that if you're in a place like that, you obviously are the help. Okay, example 2, that's it, white people. One more example, and then we're moving on, right? I'm on tour in the UK. I'm going up to Leeds. All my team was already up in Leeds setting up the theatre. I'm travelling with my tour manager and best friend, Lila, also a black woman. So I go, you know what? That's Lila. I go, you know what, Lila? Let's not drive. It's a long drive. Let's get a train and go up in comfort. So we rush down to the train station. I buy us 2 first-class tickets. There's a train leaving, so we jump on the train takes off. And we're walking through the train towards the first-class carriage. We walk into the first-class carriage. This white woman is sitting at a table. She looks up, she sees us, and at the top of her voice, she shouts, this is first class! Now Lila goes, what the fuck did you say? And I hold Lila, no, Lila, no. I just grab her by her collar. No, Lila, no. No, Lila. No, Lila, no. No. Watch me humiliate this bitch just with my mouth. Come back. So at the top of my voice, I say, thank you, lady. But what was it about us that made you assume that we didn't belong in the first-class carriage? She starts to fumble. Everybody on the train just kind of leans out from behind their seats. And she gets flustered. She's like, and then all she could think of was like, I thought you were lost. And I was like, how'd you get lost on a moving train going in one direction, bitch? How? Now, this woman was not alone. She was with her husband. Her husband was sitting opposite her at the table, same table. But we did not see her husband's face for this entire confrontation because the entire time he was hidden behind the newspaper, just... His hands never came down. All we saw were his knuckles just gripping that paper. And they were in their 60s. So they'd obviously been married a long time, and he's behind that newspaper going, ah! Nosy, big-mouth cow! 30 years we've been married, and every day of those 30 years I've said, mind your own fucking business! And now we're both gonna get beaten up by these 2 black boys.
I get to travel with this job a lot, which I enjoy. I get recognised as well, which is a strange experience. It's not always from being on TV. Sometimes you just get recognised the next day if you've done a gig somewhere. Like I had this recently. I was up north, and I'd been doing some gigs. The next day, I was just in the hotel having my breakfast, and there was a couple in the corner, and I could see they kept looking at me. This couple must have been sort of in their 50s, and they kept looking over at me, and I was just having my breakfast. And as they got up to leave, they came past my table, and they stopped. And the lady said, "Can we just say," she went, "You were amazing last night." I said, "Oh, wow, thank you so much." She was like, "Honestly, our cheeks are still hurting." I was like, "Wow, thank you." And her husband was like, "We just love finding new people." I was like, "Wow, thank you so much." And they walked away, and a few people turned to look at me, and I thought, oh, they're probably quite disappointed. They don't recognise me. They don't know who I am. And then I thought, no, that's not it at all, is it? It's because at no point during that interaction did anybody mention that I was a comedian. So all that happened was this couple approached me over a hotel breakfast and said, "You were amazing last night. Our cheeks are still hurting. We love finding new people." But of course, the issue is that the people there, of course, you can't tell from looking at me like I'm a comedian, because you can't just judge someone just by looking at them, can you? I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. But you can sometimes, can't you? You know, like, for example, if you see a man over 55 with a ponytail. You can make assumptions, can't you? Like he's either a magician or he knows karate. You know one thing for sure, he's definitely divorced. Like, you shouldn't, but you can is my point. But of course, ultimately, you can't judge someone just by looking at them. Like, you wouldn't know, for example, you wouldn't know from looking at me that I've got epilepsy, would you? Because I haven't. No, I do, don't worry, it's fine, it's good news, I got it. In fact, fun fact for you, I had my first ever seizure during National Epileptic Week. Which was fitting. I'll tell you about the first seizure I ever had. Is that okay to do? Is that all right? Thank you. I know sometimes people get a bit funny if people start talking about health conditions. I know some people don't like to talk about their own health conditions. Like, I've got a friend called Paul. He's got psoriasis. Doesn't like to talk about it at all. And I'd rather just sweep under the carpet. So people in different... Some big fans of psoriasis stuff down here. There's more if you want it. Just scratching the surface. But no, we'll move on. It's one condition at a time. Yeah, sorry. The first seizure I ever had, it was my first year at university. I was in Topshop trying on a pair of jeans in Topshop. I had no idea that I had epilepsy. I just went in there to try on these jeans, fell to the floor, I had a seizure. I woke up, still in Topshop. I had no idea what was going on. I just woke up. There was this bright light and 3 women looking over me. I thought I was in heaven. And then one of them just went, "Excuse me." She went, "Do you know what day it is?" Now, I didn't know that was a thing. And I remember just thinking, can you not ask someone else? And so to me, this woman had just walked into Topshop and just gone, "What day is it?" Oh, that's that guy there on the floor. The one who's bleeding from the mouth and appears to have wet himself in a pair of jeans that he'll be forced to pay for. Which is unacceptable. I was glad when they went under.